So you want to start including organ meats into your family's diet regularly because of the amazing nutritional and health benefits that organ meats provide. But the thought of eating organ meats is a little revolting, and actually how to do that seems a little out of reach. Well, I'm going to share with you exactly what our family does to include organ meats in our diet every day without anyone even knowing. So eating organ meats has actually been a really critical part of our family's health journey over the last several years, and so I share a whole nother video talking all about that, but I really highly attribute including daily organ meats into my diet as one of the main reasons that we were able to get pregnant and have a healthy pregnancy after many years of trying and being infertile and things like that. And so we really believe in the power of organ meats and the just amazing benefits that it can have nutritionally on your body and on your health. And so I get it though, organ meats are kind of off-putting. When cooked certain ways, they tend to have a nice odor and don't smell great and can seem really hard to palate. So there's actually a lot of ways you can incorporate organ meats, right? They have a lot of supplements now these days that you can eat beef liver in a supplement. You can try cutting it up and kind of doing raw liver shots is a thing. But for me, it was really important that I wanted to include it in the diet of not just myself, but my whole family. And so the idea of doing pills or shots of liver just didn't really seem like it was gonna work. Now you can use any sort of liver you want. So ideally, beef liver tends to be the most nutrient dense, so really the highest in those awesome nutrients, but any liver from a good quality source is gonna be super high in nutrients. And so whatever you can get your hands on from your local farmer, go with it. But beef liver and actually duck liver both tend to be extremely high. Today I'm gonna be using chicken liver and actually chicken hearts too, because this is just what we have from the chickens that our family processed earlier this summer. And so I generally tend to kind of switch up what organ meats we use. We'll go through beef liver, then we'll do chicken, then maybe we'll go back to beef and pork and whatever organ meats we have, that's what I use. But I do the same method regardless of the organ meat, the type of organ meat that we're using. All I do is you're gonna take your organ meat and you're gonna cook it just a light saute on a pan. You don't need to cook it to death. You don't want it to be like extra crispy like you're cooking, I don't know, like a pork chop that you want like cooked through all the way. You're just gonna lightly kind of cook it, make sure the outsides are cooked, and this really just only takes a couple minutes. You'll just saute it on a pan. Now you can feel free to add onions and spices and whatever you want, but honestly, I usually just keep it super simple. Just cook up my organ meats on my pan, and then from there, I just put them in a blender, or if you don't have a high-powered blender like a Vitamix, a food processor would work as well. And so I just throw my organ meats into a blender, and then you'll probably want to add a little bit of liquid to puree them. So I'm going to just toss in a little bit of chicken broth that we have on hand. So broth works really well for this, right? Because then you incorporate all the awesome nutritional benefits of broth into your liver mixture here. You can also, I've used like whey left over from cheese making, but broth is really ideal here. And so you're gonna mix those together. You can add spices. I usually just toss in some salt. And then once it's all blended up really nicely, then what I do is I pour it or scoop it onto like silicone, either like muffin cups or these little loaf pans that we have, whatever. The silicone, you can do ice cube trays too if that's what you have. I really like the silicone ones because they just pop out really easily, but whatever shape you have works fine, it doesn't matter. But I just pour it into these, and then from there I will freeze them, store them in big gallon-sized Ziploc bags, and then I'll just pull out one at a time, put it in a little Tupperware container, and then every morning when our family is eating, generally I like to just sneak them in for breakfast, but you could really, because of just kind of the nature of this, it just kind of becomes a soft sort of texture that you can just spoon out, and then I just mix it into whatever we're eating. So usually I just throw it into scrambled eggs in the morning. I'll just toss a couple spoonfuls of the liver pate sort of concoction and just kind of just mix it into our scrambled eggs, cook it up, add some seasonings like I normally do with our scrambled eggs, and then serve it, and honestly, no one even knows that it's there. So you don't want to go crazy, and you don't want to add like tons and tons and tons where it's really going to stick out. But if you just add, you know, a scoop to a couple eggs, you're going to get that nutritional benefits. I basically just think of it like everyone eating their multivitamin for the day, right? So you're going to get the awesome vitamin A and minerals that the liver provides, but just in this kind of small daily quantity, like a supplement. And so you don't need to go crazy. It's not like having 4 ounces of liver and onions, although if you like that, go for it if you want to do that once a week, but it's just this little bit every day to really give us a boost of nutrition and energy in a way that is really, really just easy, and it's just part of our routine now. So I just mix it up in our meals, stir it in, no one notices, everyone gets it, and that's an awesome way to incorporate just regular organ meats into your family's diet. So from you to your kids, whatever, everyone gets it without even knowing it. So if you're looking for another way to incorporate organ meats, one of our other favorite recipes is actually to sneak them into our burgers. So I'll puree some beef heart or whatever organ meats you have and just ground it up and put it right into our burgers. So we have another recipe for that, which you can check out next.